Hey guys, it feels crazy to even think my tank has been running this long, but I am going to give you a 20-month update on my Reef Aquarium. So it's been a good few months since I did the first update on this tank, which was the tank tour video. So at that time the tank had been running roughly, I think it was about 12 months, maybe a little bit longer, and now the tank has been running 20 months. So I really want to take a bit more of a detailed look around this tank, tell you like what's been happening over this time. I know many of you have followed along on the videos, so you'll have been seeing some of it as it's happened, but yeah, let's just take a bit of a recap and kind of look at where the tank's going as well. So just to remind you all, this tank was an upgrade from Fluval Evo 52 litre tank, which is about 13 US gallons, I think. So some of the corals actually moved across from that old tank, and but there have been a lot of additions that were kind of bought in and just went straight into this tank. So to start with, let's look down at some of the Zoas. So I brought over some of my Zoas from the old tank. Now some of them were kind of like fairly decent sized frags or small colonies. And I kind of decided I wanted to have like a Zoa area down the front here, and I bought a like a little piece of ceramic, and it was had a couple of holes in, and the idea was it could be a bit of like a goby home or something like this. And I kind of stuck a number of different kind of frag plugs onto it with various Zoas on, and these have just gone absolutely crazy. So you can't even see the ceramic now. It's completely hidden under this massive Zoas. And believe it or not, just down here there is actually a hole for the for a goby to come in and out. I mean, I don't know if I ever got one in the future, if it would kind of find its way in there, or yeah, if this is just now the, I don't even want to call it a Zoa Garden, it's an absolute Zoa jungle. But it's really cool how the various different Zoas are all growing together. Even some of the ones that I thought were less dominant and were going to be wiped out are actually still holding their own in there. I mean, yeah, there are certain colours starting to dominate a little bit. So whether I'll have to step in at some point to kind of keep that in check, we will see. Moving on, let's go up here next. So these Acropora were completely new to this reef tank. They started off as frags. I mean, I'll probably try and see if there's some little pictures I can put up on the screen of them originally when I got them, but these have completely grown out from small frags, and now, you know, I am quite comfortable to say that these are, you know, nice little small colonies. So the one in the middle here, we've got a Bali Shortcake Acropora. So this is really starting to colour up quite nicely. To be honest, most of the corals in the tank are starting to show really good colours. But yeah, up here, so this one, it's kind of like a pinky minty sort of colour with yellow tips and yellow polyps, which is kind of really cool. Over here on this side, we've got the green Millepora. This guy is just growing so fast. They're actually starting to get kind of close together. I'm not sure how long I leave them before they kind of get too close for comfort, because, you know, I don't want to cut them too early and kind of stunt them, but at the same time, you know, I would hate to lose the Bali Shortcake in particular, you know, just because they decided to fight it out and it lost or something. And let's see if we can get a bit of a better view down here. It's actually, they're really quite big. Okay, let's moving over the back. It's a bit harder to see there, but I've got like this big purple Acropora. This one was a really cool story actually, because I bought this really early when I had this tank, and you know, I wasn't so used to keeping Acropora at that point, and it was a little bit you know, that it didn't settle in very well, and it almost stripped right the way back, and it was kind of two little sticks on a frag plug, and this was actually one that came from Jason's Aquatics. And anyway, I ended up gluing it kind of on its side. You might just put a make out under there. It was kind of on its side originally. And I kind of just thought, you know what, stick it back there, give it a chance, see what happens. And not only did it kind of heal over time, given stable conditions, but it actually spread and grew into what now is really quite a big colony. I mean, it seems to be growing kind of outwards, so I'm hoping it might pick some height up at some point, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Next up, this yellow Pikachu frag. The yellow on this guy is just absolutely insane. It's kind of like those, you know, those 3M jackets that, like the workwear. It's just so bright. It's been quite a slow grower, and it hasn't been helped by the fact that I kept knocking it. You can maybe make out it was actually used to be mounted, and those of you that are very observant will notice it used to be mounted on the end of that branch. And I just kept catching it when I was working kind of below in the tank. So what I did, eventually I came one day and it was just laid on the bottom of the tank and it'd fallen down. So when I remounted it, I mounted it a bit further across. Yeah, and as you can see, it's already branching out and it's doing kind of well. Got a couple other acros at the back. I'm not quite sure what they are. The one on the left is a green one with yellow tips. The one at the back, not sure, but it's like a greeny kind of colour with purple tips. One on the right at the back's doing quite okay. Nothing, you know, it's kind of not really taken off yet, but it's steady. The one on the left, this one around the same time I had that problem with that purple type stag type Acropora. I also had a problem with this one. Now this has created lots of new growth and that's been fun, but it's never really grown over the bits that had the problem, unlike the purple one. So I have wondered about just snapping off that part on the left that's a bit white. And maybe this might actually help it heal and grow better. Yeah, let me know if you've got any ideas on and if you think that might work. Okay, down the front we've got some slightly newer acros here. So this one down here on the left, I don't know what it is, but that was also one of those from quite early on that had receded a little bit. And as you can see, over the last month when I've had everything nice and stable, it's really just taken off. It's completely grown over the bit that had receded. It's based out and it's now starting to move down onto the aquascape, which is exactly what I wanted. These two here are fairly recent additions. Oh, there goes the dosa. These are fairly recent additions. We've got a red Millepora up there, and then in the middle, this is a strawberry shortcake. So the colours are really coming through nicely on this one now. Yeah, both of these are already starting to base out, and I mean, in the case of the red Millie, it's based out completely over the frag plug and really quite quickly as well. So yeah, that's ace. Moving through the rest of the tank, so green Slimer at the back there, Bali Slimer. It's starting to branch a lot. I mean, I wouldn't say for how fast a coral this is meant to be, it hasn't really taken off. But you know what? It's growing. So, yeah, we'll just see. The way it seems to be with Acroporas is they just kind of spend quite a while settling, then they just go boom all of a sudden and just really grow. So maybe it'll be the case here. This red planet, as with many stories I hear about the red planets in the UK, they just seem to base and base and base. And then I'm hoping at some point it'll start going upwards. But I mean, the colours are really good on it. And it is really furry. Like the polyps are always out. So I think this is a positive sign. I've got a lot of Montipora Hirsuta around the tank. Just because this is kind of one of my favourites. I love the kind of bright, like light green polyps that are kind of all over it. So yeah, this is awesome. So, I mean, I've got some up there, some at the back there, some down here, some over here. So yeah, I absolutely love this stuff, and this is really starting to take off in the tank. I mean, if we just come around here, you can probably get a bit of a feel for just how much it's growing. And this one here, I got actually when a local shop was shutting down for about £5, and it was a bit of a rescue piece. In fact, I actually wondered if it was a midnight Montipora Midnight Dynamite Hirsuta or something. I can't remember the name, but it's like the purple version because it was so off color. But turns out I don't think it was, which was a little bit disappointing, but nonetheless, it's great to see it healed up like this. Yeah, I mean, these orange Oxide Zoas here, they just grow absolutely wherever you put them. No stopping them. Down here we've got the typical kind of light green Gonipora. This is just absolutely taken off. Above it here we've got the Cyphastrea Decadia, and this is kind of grown lots of new, I don't know what we call them, like lots of new polyps, and it is encrusting slowly. I mean, I think it's renowned as being a bit of a slow grower. I don't know if it'll ever get a bit faster. It's growing, it seems to be quite happy there, but it's not really taken off. Yeah, the blue, kind of bluey greeny coral there is a Cali Torte. The blues on that are really starting to get quite vivid. And it does seem to be growing out on the back a little bit there. Some of the branches are kind of extending a little bit on that. So that's quite cool. I kind of wish I had an Oregon Torte actually, because I've heard the blue on that is just absolutely insane. So yeah, maybe at some point. Okay, yes, so if you remember from my previous videos, I actually glued this red digi back together because it was growing quite close to the glass. And I mean, it's not completely healed over there where I glued it back together, but it's not far off. And it's certainly the one at the back, the piece that came off, is definitely growing. I mean, that's spread quite a bit. Not so much basing out, but it seems to, the red digi seems to grow quite a lot from the ends and quite quickly. I mean, I am going to have to keep a bit of an eye here because you can see it's kind of overgrowing this rainbow acorn here. Now, I kind of expected as soon as the acorn touched it, to be honest, that the acorn would kill it off, but it really hasn't. So yeah, they're kind of getting along, and the digi's just kind of slowly growing over it, so I'll just sort of keep an eye on that. I mean, it's better than all-out warfare. Yeah, this Blastomussa down here has grown out like a lot. I mean, this was a tiny single head when I got it. It's now quite big. Again, it's very close to the Lobo here and the acorn colony I brought over from the old tank. I do expect to put this somewhere else at some point. I'm just not quite sure where it will go, to be honest. I mean, I've thought about maybe up here, but perhaps that might be a place for the torch coral. I'm not sure. But although they seem to be getting on quite well down here, I think I do need to probably separate them out a bit. I'll probably leave the Lobo like under that ledge there. I don't know, we'll see. It might be too close to the other acorn. Sorry. Micromussa, Lord horrendous. Anyhow, got another bit of a Zoa Garden going on down here. This one was starting to get dominated by this big green set of Zoas at the front, so I kind of took them out and mixed a few other colours in here, which is pretty cool. This is looking really quite mature and grown out, this bit here now. I'm quite proud of this bit, quite liking it. Yeah, we've got another acorn, Micromussa, up here that was quite rainbow, but I think because of the high kind of par in this region, it's kind of losing its colour a little bit. Yeah, I'm not probably sure that's the best place for it, but yeah, I mean, it's there now, at least for now. Over here we've got the competition coral, I mean the growth experiment coral. This coral here is quite special. It's part of a growth experiment which is going on the Ultimate Reef forums in the UK, so everybody got the same coral. Well, same coral, got a frag of the same coral, roughly the same size, cut at the same time, and for the next year everybody will kind of provide regular updates on it, and we'll get to see how they grow out differently in everybody's tank. So I think that's really cool. If you do want to follow along with that, then subscribe to the channel. I will be doing regular updates on this coral. I mean, the colours on this, it's only been in a couple of weeks or whatever, but the colours are just starting to really show now. So it's getting purple tips. It's got green right along the length of it. Now, I thought it was maybe paling out. Turned out it wasn't. It was just losing its brown, and it was starting to colour up. So yeah, I mean, that's a really positive thing. I think there's maybe just a little bit of sign, like just tiny little white growth tips on the bottom there of it starting to encrust a little bit over the putty, but not like how other people seem to be encrusting. This one seems to be going a little bit slower. Moving over here, the red Monti Cap has really grown. So this was something I swapped a long way back. Right in the early days of this tank, I swapped for a little tiny piece of this, and it was really paled out. It was not in a good way. I mean, to be honest, it was almost like not recognizable as a red Monty, and you know, it was pretty much dead. But anyway, you know, I decided to give it a go, and again, it's really satisfying when you can just take these corals from this condition and bring them completely back to health. I mean, this Lobo down here, for example, was completely deaded when I took this from, like, again, from a shop that was closing down. I mean, it was just skeleton everywhere. There was just the one head left. And yeah, I managed to trim it all up, put it on a frag plug, and look at it now. I mean, it's as good, if not better, than any of the others I've got. Yeah, because I love Monti Hirsuta. We've got another little bit squeezed in up there. Then I've put a piece of chalice coral. I'm not even sure what it's called, but it's a nice purple one with yellow kind of, I don't know what to call them, eyes there. And I've hoped by mounting it just a little bit above the red Monti Cap that it'll hopefully grow over it. So that, yeah, okay, I don't mind if it shades out a bit of the red Monti Cap. I just don't want the red Monti Cap growing over it. I'll have to keep an eye on this. Down here we've got the Cataphilia, so what are these called? Elegance Coral, that's it. I'm not sure it's ever done amazing. I mean, it's definitely got bigger. I'm not sure the polyp extension is good as it could have been, but this tank, as you heard in one of my other videos recently, is very much optimized for SPS, so there's quite a bit of flow. I mean, just about as much as I can get away with for the LPS, to be honest. So yeah, anyway, it's doing that. You can see at the back there, the torch is really not good. I don't seem to do so well with torches. I mean, this one does okay. This one at the back is just so pale. And I think it got total light shock. So even though when I mounted it, it was just in front of this one, I think the light coming through the top of the aquascape, there was just not as much shade. It was just too much. So I stuck it down there in a more shaded patch, and it seems to be doing better. But yeah, I think I'm just going to avoid torches in this tank, to be honest. Okay, we've got a yellow Acropora. Again, this is a pretty cool kind of yellow. This has just grown quite quickly, to be honest. Again, I need to keep an eye on that red Monti Cap next to it, because it's kind of starting to just get hidden under it. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I think I've seen it called Goldenrod on a few of Inappropriate Reefers videos. Down here, yeah, okay, another Zoa Garden again. Love these. Got, you know, a number of different colours and contrasts in there. Hammer coral over here. When I bought this, I thought it was a cristata. This was what it was kind of swapped with me as, but yeah, I'm not sure. To me, it looks like a standard hammer, but either way, it's growing really well, nice and cool. Yeah, looking good. Over here, we got some more Monti Hirsuta and Montipora Appleberry. Now, this was mounted quite a long time ago, and it's now got some really vivid colours. So it was really good colours when I originally got it, and then they kind of didn't look quite as good. But then yeah, it came back. We have got down here another Lobo. We've got red Gonipora. Okay, a fairly new coral. A Milka Stylophora, so like a blue Stylophora. Yeah, we got some stuff on the rack here growing out. Oh, and this corner, by the way, this is kind of like the clowns area. This is where they live. We got some mushrooms, we got a load of various fast growing corals. Anything that I kind of grows quite quickly and I have to kind of take out from somewhere else just kind of gets dumped in this corner and it sort of fights itself out, and that kind of yeah, they all kind of keep on top of each other a little bit, so this is just kind of an out of the way area a little bit. Yeah, we've got a few corals around the back. Okay, so it's just, you may notice that there are a few new corals in here fairly recent. So yeah, the Stylophora was one of the new ones. What else was it? This Acropora up the top, you might not be able to see it, this little stick coming out towards us. That's actually like it's a yellow Bennett's Torte, this one. So it looks a bit greener here, but it's not been in that long, so it probably hasn't really got its colour yet, but it's like a yellowy kind of Acropora Torte with like a purpler kind of undertone, if I've remembered that correctly. So yeah, that'll be really quite cool as that starts growing out. This Millepora up here, I think it was yellow originally, but it's kind of looking pretty green. It just kind of shooted out all angles from the base. Yeah, that's really cool. Wow, I mean, I could probably just keep talking forever on these because there is just literally so much coral in this tank. Wave makers here are already completely covered in coralline algae compared to, I mean, it felt like only a few weeks back. I mean, it's probably a couple months when I cleaned these as part of the video when I showed you how I do that, but I'm definitely going to need to put these in for the scrub again. Yeah, going down into the sump, what's been happening down here. So yeah, I changed some of the trace elements I was dosing. So I was using the Agroforest ones. I mean, I still use a lot of their other products, but I ran out and I wasn't able to get any more easily locally, you know, kind of at the shops I was at. So I decided to go with these ones. Yeah, not much more to it really than that, to be honest. I'm now getting through quite a lot of dosing each day. It's like 200 ml of alkalinity and 200 ml of calcium I'm adding each day. And for those of you who don't know, I use the CChem dosing. So these ones here, and I wasn't previously mixing them up as strong as I could, so as concentrate. I'm now about as concentrated as I can. I'm considering switching to a different system, so kind of watch the space. I think I mentioned a couple of videos ago, I am hardly ever changing my filter socks at the moment, like once every few weeks maybe. And this is just, they just don't seem to be clogging much. I have a feeling it's something to do with this life source I dose, this guy in the packet back here, this Acroporas life source. This seems to be amazing. I mean, the polyp extension I seem to get out of the corals off dosing this is just mad. And I think what happens is it obviously ends up working its way through into the sump, and then it kind of sits in the bottom of the socks. And I think a lot of the kind of crud and things that would build up in the socks kind of get stuck to the mud, and maybe that's why, but I'm not sure. I mean, my nutrients seem to be dropping as well, so like now I have an auto feeder set up to feed pellets around lunchtime, and then I am putting like 1 or 2 cubes of frozen food in every day, and then maybe a bit of like with the nori feeder around that. So it's just absolutely insane. I mean, maybe this isn't a lot. I've got like 5 fish, but I feel like I have to keep adding what to me feels like a lot of food. I feed the corals, you know, once or twice a week. It feels like I'm adding a lot of food, and yet the nutrients still kind of going down. I mean, maybe it's the coral load, but yeah, I actually dosed nitrate the other week. So I think I had a bit of potassium nitrate solution here, and that was just to try and bring the nitrate up faster because I was putting more and more frozen food in, and it still wasn't going up. And I mean, I haven't had to switch the Phosguard out in the reactor for hardly ever. I mean, I'm not even sure if there's any in there or not right now. I think it might just be carbon. So yeah, if I go without swapping out the carbon for too long, I kind of start to notice a little bit. What else has been happening? Oh yeah, so something worth pointing out. I told you a while back I had an interesting piece of kit coming. Well, I have got an Apex, Neptune Apex on here. So as you can see, I'm not using it for any kind of control at the moment, but I have had it set up for a good few weeks now for monitoring. So I was able to disconnect the Senai with the Raspberry Pi. Oops, it's gone. I used to have that over there. Yeah, so I will definitely do some videos in the future about kind of a bit more about the Apex and, you know, what my thoughts on it are. Like with much of my equipment, I got this second hand, and I got a, you know, pretty good deal on it, because even then they're expensive, but yeah, I mean, new, they are just crazy expensive, right? So yeah, that's that. That's how it's going with my reef tank. I mean, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this update. You know, if you have, please give this video a thumbs up. You know, if you haven't checked out some of the other videos on the channel yet, do take a look around. If you enjoy it, you know, think about subscribing. It really helps me out with the channel, and it also makes sure that you are notified when, you know, I upload new videos, so you don't miss out on anything. So until next time on Indoor Reef, keep it stable, keep it fun, and keep reefing.